Welcome to the Stronger Than Your Boyfriend podcast, a podcast for anyone into fitness.
Especially for those of you who think plastic surgery is going to slow down your aging.
We are Heather and Katie, owners of Barpath Fitness, here to help you sift through the bullshit and toxic misinformation that permeates the fitness industry. Today, our topic is about aging well.
Yes. Can you reverse aging? You sure can.
Can you?
Can you?
Can you stop time?
Can you stop time? I don't think anyone has figured that out yet. But they did discover black holes, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you can.
Yeah, time is a construct.
Time, is it a construct though? This is what I don't get. This is a very philosophical question. Time is a construct, but also not.
Yeah, but we experience it. So.
We do. So, okay. So can you reverse aging? I feel like there are a lot of products nowadays that will market that to you, but I hate to burst your bubble. You cannot reverse aging. You are aging every single day.
You are.
Even babies are aging. Once you're born, you age. So you cannot stop time, but you can look and feel pretty damn good as you get older.
Yes.
So it's, you know what's funny is thinking, when you're in your 20s, whatever. You're young, you can get away with a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And you can look pretty good in your 20s.
Yes.
In your 30s too. But when we're talking about getting into your 50s, 60s, 70s, this is where you can see the difference in people. You can take, let's just say a 60-year-old, someone who eats well, they move, they take care of themselves, they're physically active, they're taking their whatever supplements they may need, etc., getting enough sleep, versus someone who maybe they still have a desk job, they're not moving, they don't take care of themselves. Then you can see the difference.
Yeah, that's
and
true. How
much older that 60-year-old who doesn't work out or eat well or prioritize a healthy lifestyle, how much older they look than a person who does. And it's kind of crazy to, being in Colorado. You see that. I mean, everyone is healthy and fit here.
Yeah.
And half the time I'm blown away when my clients tell me their age. If they're a little bit older, maybe middle-aged or older, and they tell me their exact age, I'm blown away because they take care of themselves. And that is when you can notice, and that is where you can almost make the argument for slowing down aging or making it look like you're not aging super
gracefully
fast.
Is
Aging
the term
gracefully.
That I've heard.
Yes. So I think, it's not only we'll just say with the example of people who live in Colorado, because most people here look fucking great.
Yeah.
And not only are they constantly doing activities, so they're skiing in the winter, biking in the summer, hiking, etc., and obviously strength training if they're here with me or Rob, hi Rob, training with him, they're out in the sun, and there's a lot of sun in Colorado. And we'll talk about that too, but they're getting vitamin D. And we talked a little bit about last time how most people are vitamin D deficient.
Yeah.
And where do you get vitamin D? I mean, you can supplement with it, but the best place to get it is the sun.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of it too, just not, living in the sun all day, every day, because your bodies aren't used to it, right?
Yes.
Even though that is how humans evolved.
Yes.
So there's that too.
I actually have a client right now who, I think she's 70, and she bought, she used to road bike a lot, but she's getting to the point where she doesn't necessarily feel that's as safe for her, even though she strength trains with me twice a week and she's really strong. So she bought this trike. Have you seen these? What is a trike? Where you recline back and it's like longer.
Oh, does that have 3 wheels? Yeah, I've seen people do that. I didn't know that's what they were called.
She loves it.
Of course.
She always talks about this trike. It is her favorite thing. And she showed me a picture of her.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're cheap, but she loves it. And she's able to stay active and still road bike with people.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. It's funny to think about that because she lives in Colorado.
Yeah.
So the clients that I've gotten in Colorado, if there is a setback in any way, they go crazy. Like they need to move. But clients, and I don't want to shit on any client from any part of the country, but it's just the difference in clients here. Whereas I've had clients in the past where they're like, oh, fuck yeah, like, okay, I'm not going to work out. Like I'm injured, I'm not going to work out.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep well, I'm not going to work out. Yeah. Whereas people here are fucking on it. Like if they can't regular bike, they will trike it up. You know what I mean? So it's like they will find any way to move, and that's how most humans should be, and that's how you won't look really old. So
my client, she looks amazing. She's great. She's strong as hell too.
Yes.
She just weighted planks. It's badass.
So, wow, that's cool. How old is she?
70.
What?
Yeah.
Love
she lives
that
in my
for her.
building. I
Yeah.
train people in my building. And
That's cool.
She's a boss.
So I guess first tip to sum up, well, I mean, we kind of got off. We went on a lot of
That's
tips.
okay. Tangents are great.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of tips, but first tip, strength train.
Yes.
The stronger you are, the stronger your body is going to be. And I think that applies to everything.
Yeah.
Your any kind of health, your immune health, your skin health, your muscle health, your brain health, etc. So,
yeah. Go back and listen to one of our first episodes called Weight Loss is Not the Answer.
Yes.
I think that's the one, or was it the women in weight loss one? It's
probably
one of those.
both.
Yeah, there's two episodes. And one of them, we talk about a study that was done a couple years ago from people that were later in life, I believe 70s and older. And it was women, and it basically showed that weight loss at that age is associated with mortality. So because when you lose weight at that age, a lot of times you're losing muscle mass, you're losing bone density, and that's why building muscle now and always is so important.
Yes, it is actually, you're right, and goes into my next point I was going to bring up. It is better to be overweight and strong than skinny and not strong
100%.
with no muscle.
Agreed.
So be careful before you buy your Ozempic. So
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it.
We did a whole
episode. We did a whole episode on peptides. I think they're fucking great. I think they are amazing for the right person.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you have to do it right.
Yes.
So I know we're kind of getting off tangent, but this is,
Lift your weights.
man, I also just want to say, last year around this time, I called, I mean, I'm sure everyone called it, but I was like, within the next couple of years, we are going to see ads everywhere for GLP-1s and semaglutide. And what do you see? What do I see on my Hulu during my commercials? Ads everywhere for GLP-1s and semaglutide. But anywho, I digress.
Yeah.
So yes, it is better to be strong with extra body fat on you than it is to be skinny and weak.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
yes.
Especially as you get older.
Especially as you get older.
Yeah, very important.
So we were kind of ahead of the curve on that when we were talking about weight loss is not the answer.
Yes.
Yes.
That was
So-
a very good episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into nutrition a little bit.
Nutrition tips.
It's pretty simple.
Very
Same shit we always say.
basic.
Right? Yeah. focus on protein, Eat your carbs and fat, mostly whole foods, drink your water.
Yeah.
I will say, I think as you get older, it's very important to focus on micronutrients. It's always important, but I think as we get older, that's when we really start seeing the difference, paying attention. Like, we definitely need to focus on more of that. And advice for that is taking labs, which we always talk about, getting your blood panels done. Getting your blood panel done to figure out what you're deficient in instead of just taking a multivitamin. Not that multivitamins are bad. I actually did have the doctor recommend me a general multivitamin, a very specific brand.
I've been changing my mind on this too. I've been hearing a lot of good things about multivitamins. Because back in the day I was like, that's just expensive pee. Like, you're just going to pee it all out. But no. Yeah. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So I was wrong.
Yeah, the doctor actually, because of the things I was deficient in, she was like, this would be a good supplement for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, most people living in modern society aren't getting enough nutrients.
Oh yeah.
And even if you're eating a whole food diet, the way that shit is cropped and farmed is very depleted the soil is very depleted of nutrients, which makes whatever produce you're consuming less.
Yeah.
It has less diversity of nutrients nowadays.
Yeah.
So, the example is Google banana, or maybe banana from like 100 years ago. It was small, like really tiny.
Yeah.
And like super fibrous. But now look at bananas, like they're huge and sugary. You know what I mean? So bananas are still great. I'm not saying don't eat bananas. There's still nutrients in them. But I'm just saying that's an example of how modern farming is kind of changing. It's changing the nutrients. So I do think multivitamins might be a good health supplement, but you don't want too much of any nutrient,
right?
Nor do you want too little. So this is why blood tests are.
Yeah, blood tests are really important.
Yes, important.
You know what's interesting? So I found out I'm super deficient in vitamin D, and like I saw the test and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then I talked to the doctor and she's like, no, you're very deficient in vitamin D. And she was like, I recommend 20,000 units a day.
IUs or whatever.
For a couple weeks.
What's a normal?
I think
like
10,000 is like fairly
10,000?
high, but she wants me to double it.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me is we live in Colorado, the sunniest state ever. Can you imagine what my vitamin D would have been in Chicago?
Well, during this time of year, none.
Yeah. So I need to go outside.
Yeah.
But I'm also, I'm doing the vitamin D and K2.
K2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So vitamin D is fat soluble.
Yes.
It needs that.
Yes, and she recommended either putting it in MCT oil
Oh,
or,
yeah, for
having
more.
some source of, something with it.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it the liquid
Yeah.
form?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could probably do it if you do a whole milk latte.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking I'm gonna do. I just ordered
splash it in.
Yeah.
Splash it in the latte, and I don't think it has a taste. I used to take a liquid vitamin D K2. It doesn't have a taste.
The AG1 one?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I have that one at home, and I'm thinking about using that
Where was
one,
that
but
from?
I don't know.
I don't remember where I got it from.
Yeah.
Keon, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they did that. Maybe it was a different brand. But anywho,
All right.
we digress.
Anyway.
Okay.
Nutrients.
Yes, we need nutrients. And the other reason why blood tests are really important is this might change. Not might, it will change throughout your life.
Yes.
You might be deficient in certain things at certain points of your life. So I'm not saying you have to test every month, every quarter, but once a year is a good, if you can, if it's feasible for you.
I think I'm doing every 12 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a lot.
Right. But you got goals and
I'm undergoing an optimization program.
Right. So I think that if you just to even check in, you're maybe for a year you've started adding in a multivitamin, you can see, are you getting too much of something now? Maybe you need to just supplement only with parts of that the nutrients in the multivitamin that you need, and that way you can protect yourself in that way too.
Totally.
So you don't want to cause any extra, negative effects that you don't want. So.
Yeah. Is there anything else we want to touch on in nutrition?
Nutrition, basic shit. Eat your protein, eat whole foods when you can. Enjoy life once in a while too. We're not saying deprive yourself, but it adds up the older you get. So
For sure. And I truly believe, go back and listen to our alcohol episode, even though that was a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
And there's even more now. But I think as you get older, alcohol really, really starts to make an impact.
Yes.
So I can't even tell you how different my sleep and everything is now that I'm not drinking even just a glass and a half of wine every night.
Yes, this is something that I didn't even include in the outline, but duh.
Yeah.
The more
I
you
think
drink,
this is huge for people who are older because
you can tell in their face.
Uh-huh.
You can tell
Skin,
in someone's face.
Yeah. Everything.
Which we are going to get into skincare.
Yes.
Which is also the obvious. Smoking, you will age very, very quickly.
Yes.
You will look like you've aged very, very quickly.
Yes.
And doing a lot of other drugs, most other drugs.
Yeah.
I would say maybe weed in a moderate amount won't age you that well. But smoking anything, not good for you. Very carcinogenic. Smoking can, I don't know, there's something with smoking in the skin and it'll deteriorate your epithelial cells, skin cells. Did I say that right?
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah, okay, so skincare tips. I forced myself to research this because I don't do this, which I should.
So proud of you.
So skincare, the majority of it is being healthy. If you are healthy, you are going to have nice looking skin. Okay, so going back to the Colorado client example, everyone has pretty nice skin because they're healthy when they're older. So that's step one. That is the big rock. However, there are other things you can do to help that. So I know most people don't want to get super wrinkly, but at some point that's inevitable. I mean, you can take Botox if you don't want to get wrinkly, but getting wrinkles is inevitable, right? So that wasn't me recommending Botox. I'm just saying.
I was going to say there are opinions on Botox.
Yeah, there are. But I used to think Botox bad, so bad for you, but I actually researched it and it's actually not going to kill you like I thought it would, but I think there are other things you can try first.
But it is actually, I'm going to wait until we have a skincare expert.
Okay, but skincare expert.
Yeah, but it is actually
a toxin.
Yeah.
You're paralyzing your face.
Right, okay.
That's why so do that at your own risk.
Right, yeah. I just think people need to be aware of what they're doing.
Oh, I've heard stories. I mean, it doesn't kill them, but I've heard stories of, getting Botox in forehead and their eye being droopy for a bit. And you just have to wait. You have to wait till it wears off.
That's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah. That's
so anyways, so I know a lot of people get, face washes and, the acne-free wash or whatever in the shower, whatever they're called, whatever they want to market.
Yeah.
Not good because it has a bunch of fucking chemicals in it that you don't want to put on your skin. So don't use chemical-based skincare products. Use more natural products. That's a big one. And so what I found in a lot of or what I've read in reviews and stuff with these natural skincare products is that if you have a naturally dry skin, it helps give your skin some moisture. It's not a crazy effect. It's just something that you can notice, but it's not like, oh my God. And on the other hand, if you have super oily skin, then it helps to dry it out a little bit. Yeah. So it balances your skin microbiome out. Yeah. I think that's obviously why these formulations were created, but they're natural. So that's what you want. You don't want anything excessive.
Right.
So, and I also want to go back to just how a healthy diet relates to good skin health. Most acne, for part of it, I know is genetic. And I know that is just, the way you were born, the way your skin microbiome is. However, most of the time, acne, I think it's that whole, your genes are the gun and the environment pulls the trigger kind of thing. I think if you're eating a highly processed food diet, you're prone to getting, pimples, acne, it's going to surface with a shitty diet. I think a lot of it is, processed sugars and processed refined carbs, stuff you find in the ultra processed foods. I think that there is strong evidence that I've seen anecdotally, like when people cut that out, it helps their acne.
Yeah.
And if you're eating, the standard American diet, maybe you're getting more pimples than you would like. So if you do have more pimples here and there, maybe cut out a little bit more of those processed foods and see if that clears up your skin.
Yeah.
So that's another big correlation. I don't want to say causation, but I think it's a very, very strong correlation.
Yeah.
So, okay. Vitamin D on your skin. This is important. Being deficient in anything, no good. It's probably not going to help your aging being deficient in anything.
Right.
So you want vitamin D, but if your skin isn't used to it, so if all of a sudden you're a hermit inside, and then all of a sudden you go outside for days, for hours on end, one, you're gonna get sunburnt, obviously. Two, you might age your skin faster because the damage that happens from being sunburnt can cause a bunch of wrinkles. So if you know what I'm talking about, like people from Florida who do this, or people who go to Florida, I should say, in their retirement and they go out in the sun too long and they look like their skin looks kind of leathery.
Yeah.
That can happen from that just laying out in the sun. So tanning, I don't want to say it's bad, but it's not great.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing it for long periods of time. So, I think tanning, if you shift it to thinking about just trying to get some vitamin D, like you are, going in the sun to do that versus I want to tan to get darker, then you might not have those detrimental effects. Like think of it for health versus aesthetics. Oh, geez, like we always say. Yeah. So you can go in the sun, but don't do it excessively either if your body isn't used to it.
Right.
So.
Yes. Great.
Okay. Should we talk about the peptide?
Sure.
Okay, there's a skin health peptide. We're all nerding out. We're nerding out on peptides. We just released a peptide episode. There is a peptide for everything, and this one is fun. So GHK-CU.
Wow.
I don't know where it stands with the FDA. I don't know if you can go to your compounding pharmacy and get it. However, I'm sure you can if I was able to research it.
Yeah.
For now, you can get it probably. So this peptide is naturally found in human plasma, okay? So it can help, it's been shown to help reduce inflammation and oxidative stress. So if you have too much oxidative stress, AKA going out in the sun for too long when your skin isn't used to it, that can cause oxidative stress, which causes wrinkles and deterioration of your skin cells and skin microbiome. So that stress shows up on your skin. So this can help reduce this peptide. And it can help with wound healing. So maybe, I don't know if they were talking about scarring specifically or just any I don't know, abrasion you have on your skin, something like that. But it promotes collagen production, which helps to heal. Right. And, other proteins that help repair, like, skin tissue growth and even hair growth too. So that's cool. It also supports hair growth and thickness. So I guess this is like it almost feels like the collagen peptide, because that's what everyone promotes that collagen does is helps skin, hair, nails. So that's what I feel like this might, if it does work, that would be the marketing for it. So also I found it can help modulate excessive immune responses like you've seen people with eczema.
Oh,
so that is a pretty, that sucks for people. That really can affect their daily living with eczema. I mean, it's like rashes on your skin that are really itchy. Yeah. And, I know a lot of people are embarrassed to have their skin show because it doesn't look great. Mm-hmm. It's red and inflamed. So that's cool. So yeah, that's what I found about the peptide.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Keep it on your radar.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll hear more about it soon.
I'm sure we will.
Yes. So
talking more about skincare, I will make a general recommendation about skincare that I like, and I'm gonna see if maybe I can get her to come on the podcast.
Yes.
But I have a local here from Colorado, and her name is Danny, and she's the founder of something called Skin Harmonics. She's a licensed esthetician and corneotherapist, which I don't even know if I'm saying that right because I've never actually heard this word. Mm-hmm. But she focuses on the repair and maintenance of the skin instead of treating the symptoms. So think holistic skincare. Yeah. She actually calls it regenerative skin process is what she calls it. But she's awesome. Check out Skin Harmonics. She has a lot of education about like Botox, about like just how to what to clean your skin with, how skincare works. It's really cool.
I would love to have her on to get into the weeds of this. I feel like people would be really interested in this.
She's awesome.
Skincare's a thing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's move into fitness.
Yes.
So we talked about strength training. I'm not going to give you anything new.
Yes.
The only thing I want to talk about is how strength training changes with age.
Yes.
You better be strength training with progression. That's number one. Mm-hmm. So when I say strength training, I don't mean go to classes and do a bunch of HIIT. I mean progressive overload.
Yes. Yes.
Progressive overload. Yes. That's really important as you get older. Mm-hmm. Walking is going to be huge. Mm-hmm. That's, do a little bit of cardio. Walking is great. Mm-hmm. Don't excessively, work out like crazy HIIT classes. This can cause oxidative damage.
Yeah.
That does not help us age gracefully.
It does not. Well, that's what I was just going to say. Those chronic cardio people, you're creating a lot of oxidative stress, which shows up on the skin and does not help it helps your cardio fitness, but as far as it's a lot of stress. So a lot of stress will age you faster.
Yeah.
So
yes. So get your steps in and light activity throughout the day, or we've talked about it before, NEAT.
Yes.
Non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
Yeah. Like garden. You always hear about the people who garden all day.
Yeah.
They should. They're probably older and probably need some strength training, but the gardening folks, they're moving all day.
Yeah.
They love that garden and they're outside.
Yeah.
So
also having dogs. We've talked about this before. Dogs help a lot.
Yeah. Well, dogs get you moving more.
Yeah.
It's funny how you think about dog owners, not here though, everyone here is just active, but dog owners will walk their dogs because they know it's important for their dogs to get exercise. But then it's like, well, you got to do that for yourself too. Yeah, walk yourself. So
it is interesting. You take your dog to the vet, and the vet's like, oh, your dog needs to lose weight.
Yeah.
You put it on a diet. But you go to the doctor. Doctor's like, you need to lose weight, and you're like, I don't know how.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
and it is annoying though, and that's part. Not everyone's fault. You know what I mean? If they don't know anything, it's
I know. Also, I
system's fault.
hate that the doctor is like, you need to lose weight instead of, hey, let's address these health markers, which will impact your weight, and decrease your body fat.
I hope this
and help
is
you be healthier, right?
I hope this is changing,
right? Because it's like we keep telling people that weight's the problem. That's not the case. It's all of the other underlying things, and weight is just like a side effect of that. Right?
I actually don't think it's changing because we have Ozempic now and other semaglutide peptides because they're like, well, you need to lose weight. Here you go.
Yeah.
Here's the peptide. Here's the magical weight loss pill. So I do hope however, on the other hand, the thought just came to me. I think a lot of doctors are telling their patients who they are prescribing Ozempic or whatever GLP-1 to, they're telling them they need to strength train.
I hope so.
I do think that is a thing, and to get enough protein. So like those two things, thank goodness. I don't think a lot of people are doing it. I hope that they do, as per their doctor's recommendations. But I don't know. We will see. I feel like it's a gray space, and we'll see how that goes. Because if you're really skinny, you're also not going to age well. You're not going to look good. So
with anything, you need to treat the problem, not the symptom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, peptide therapies, Ozempic is like that, because even with BPC 157, which I did a couple rounds of, I had to be very cognizant that I'm only doing this for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Therefore, during that
You're
10
helping.
weeks, I need to do my own physical therapy. And
Yeah.
so it's the same thing with Ozempic. If you're going to be, I'm only doing this for X amount of time, I need to be changing my habits. This is the Kickstarter, which isn't bad. You can use that Kickstarter, but you've got to change the way that you live your life. You've got to change the way you eat, the way you sleep, the way you work out. You got to strength train.
It's not a magic pill. Same thing like BPC 157 for injury. You have to.
None of these modalities are magic pills. They're all temporary.
Here's the other thing. Think about steroids. This is extreme, but you don't just take a steroid and then get super fucking jacked and ripped.
Correct.
You still have to go to the
work
gym.
Your ass off.
But
just allows
you're
you to
able to
recover
work
faster.
your ass off even harder and recover faster. That's how steroids work.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of people are like, well, I wouldn't want to touch steroids, even though it's probably magic, but it's really not.
No, it's not. You still have to work your ass off.
Still have to put in the work. So, yes, you have to put in the work to age gracefully.
Yes.
And it's not that hard. It's what we always talk about, minus a couple nuances here and there that you can get more in the weeds of. But I think just being healthy, I don't know if we touched on sleep that much, but sleeping is super important. Your stress will show up in your skin, in your health markers, etc., if you aren't sleeping enough consistently.
Correct.
And it's okay if you have a bad night of sleep here and there, but you got to figure that out.
Yeah.
So, what we always talk about, age gracefully. But it is pretty cool to see the older population out here being healthy and fit and how good they look for their age.
Yeah.
Age, that's when, you hear the old adage, age is just a number if you make it that way.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Well, if you like this podcast, share it and like it and join our Facebook group and tell us what your favorite aging tips are or what you do or what skincare products you use, I guess.
Yeah.
That would be a fun conversation.
It would.
Yeah. All right. Peace out.